The Major League Baseball playoffs are here, and we're here to tell you all about what got us here. We'll be getting to all of it on Locked On MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. I'm your Sunday night host, Brian McKeon, and Locked On Yankees host, alongside my partner and Locked On Braves postcast host, Lindsey Crosby. Lindsey, what's going on?
Listen, what a great day of baseball. I am so hyped to talk about this.
It's going to be great. Coming up on today's show, it wasn't just seeding that was played for today. Some teams entered the day without postseason berths, and some teams did. We'll discuss all of it. Before I get to that, today's show is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Go to www.5hourenergy.com on Amazon today. So one of those teams that didn't know what their fate was, one of these teams in this game didn't know where they'd be seated, and one of these teams in this game didn't know if they'd be playing on Tuesday. They entered the game. It's the Reds and the Brewers. The Reds took the first two games of this series somehow, some way. Because if you're sitting there thinking the Reds are going to sweep the Brewers after losing 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, I don't know what was going on in your mind. But they go into the series trying to sweep the Brewers and lose the game 4-2. The Reds don't know their fate going forward because they need the New York Mets to also lose for them to get in. The Milwaukee Brewers win this game 4-2, but lose the series 2 out of 3. Let's hear from Chuck Freeman of the Locked On Brewers podcast.
Well, it took the final game of the regular season, but the Milwaukee Brewers, the 2025 Milwaukee Brewers, have the best record in franchise history with the 97 wins. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Brewers didn't have a lot of incentive going into this game. They played it like a spring training game. They used several pitchers. Starter Freddie Peralta went just 2 innings. We saw McGill for the first time in a while, DL Hall for a first time in a while. Hall did give up a solo home run. McGill looked great in his 1-2-3 inning. But the Reds coming in, their incentive was a win and in would have for sure got them in. As a result, they got in anyway because the Mets got beat. But the Brewers, I know we got the good vibes back, right? Some people have been edgy here with the way the Brewers have been playing as of late. But good vibes going into the week. Brewers won't play until Saturday in the divisional playoff series. And we'll be right back at AmFam Field. So we got a lot to talk about this week on Locked On Brewers. We'll see you a little bit later on tonight. We'll talk to you then. Please subscribe.
I have a feeling the off days are going to hurt some teams that are getting a little too much time off. They're getting almost a week off of playtime, which you see it across all other sports, Lindsey. This does hurt some teams when you get too much time going off into the postseason.
Anecdotally, it feels like the teams that get the buys have been done worse in that next round than the teams that haven't. But a lot of the teams are trying to manufacture the atmosphere. Phillies are inviting fans in for squad games. So are the Mariners. They're trying to artificially create it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do, though. Nothing really competes to the actual game atmosphere. We'll see how it all goes. That'll be next weekend as we got to get to the wild card rounds first. Brady Singer goes 3 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 5 Ks. You'll see the theme in this. A lot of guys had very short leashes in Sunday's games because teams couldn't afford to let them go length. Freddie Peralta gave them 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, no walks, and 3 Ks. The Brewers came into this game playing for something. They were playing for that top seed in the National League. And they started Freddie Peralta and took this game seriously, Lindsey, I think, because they were afraid of going to the bank in a potential National League Championship series. They don't want to play a deciding game in Philadelphia. They'd rather play it in Milwaukee. And I like that you see teams playing for that.
Part of me wonders, did they do Peralta a service by not pitching him long enough? It's really just an extended bullpen now. He doesn't pitch again until Saturday. He'll line up for game 1. I don't throw him 110 pitches, but give him something that's more than just a glorified bullpen. They threw him 2 innings. Is it enough or not?
I don't know. And we're going to find out. It's going to be very fascinating to see. Reds go 83-79 for the season. They needed the Mets to lose to get in. We'll discuss that next. Brewers finished 97-65, finished the best record in baseball, and will have the bye. And the National League will go through Milwaukee as they clinch the top wild card spot. I mentioned, if you're the New York Mets, you come into playing Miami. You just need to win that series, and you're good. You just need to match the Cincinnati Reds, and you're good. Somehow the New York Mets did exactly what anyone would expect the New York Mets to do. They lose this game 4-0, lose 2 out of 3 in the series. Let's hear first from Chris Schubert, the Locked On Mets postcast host.
The New York Mets season has come to an end. They got the help they needed in Milwaukee from the Cincinnati Reds, but unfortunately, the offense, a big nothing burger. Their pitching, Sean Manaea only got them 5 outs. They had to turn to the bullpen. The bullpen served up the 4 runs, and the Mets could not answer. And unfortunately, the way this game went, a microcosm of the way the entire season went for the New York Mets. You know the stat by now. 45-24 through their first 69 games of the season.
Nice.
And then one of the bottom 5 teams in all of baseball since. And it was pitching, pitching, pitching. Couldn't get length from their starters, overworked their bullpen. The moves they made at the deadline to help their bullpen get reinforcements, all of those were a mess, and they just couldn't get enough wins late. They lost 2 of 3 in this series to Miami. One of those goes differently. The Mets are playing on Tuesday, but unfortunately, as it has been a theme all season long, the Mets just couldn't get it done. Now, a very important offseason. Who knows? Will Pete Alonso be back? Will Edwin Diaz be back? What does the 2026 roster look like? I'm sure we'll continue to focus on that all throughout the rest of the year. As for the 2025 New York Mets, it's over.
As some of you may not know, my day job is hosting Locked On Yankees when I'm not hosting Game Night. And Lindsay, I used to host at WFAN on the overnights in New York City, and I will tell you that it is probably a must listen tomorrow morning to hear what the reaction is on the New York Mets. Let me say this before I answer the question that you're going to ask me.
Yeah.
This is as pathetic as it can humanly get if you're the New York Mets. And I'm not just saying that as Mr. Yankee guy, but you sign Juan Soto, you have the largest payroll in all of baseball. Missing the postseason outright is unbelievably pathetic, especially going into this last series where all you had to do was beat the Miami Marlins. And then in your last game where the Reds gift you that loss, and all you need to do is beat the Miami Marlins, you are shut out in that game. Shut out, Lindsay. I mean, make it make sense. What were you going to ask me?
I was going to, I think I know the answer now. I was going to ask, was the Tigers dropping the division lead and losing the division a bigger collapse than the Mets not making the postseason? But it feels like it's the Mets because they had the best record in baseball in mid-June. It's not like they were just a playoff team. They were the best team in baseball by record, and they went from that to not in the postseason. And since that point, they've been one of the worst teams in baseball. A Braves host and a Yankees host are the 2 correct teams to clown on the New York Yankees on this, the New York Mets on this podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for Mets fans to go at Yankee fans this offseason. Check your LinkedIns tomorrow morning to see Carlos Mendoza looking for a new place of employment, because I'm sure that's coming. Sean Manaea, as was said, gave an inning and 2/3, no hits, no earned, 2 walks and 3 Ks, but got himself into some trouble. Edward Cabrera for the Marlins, 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned, 5 walks and 7 Ks. Marlins scored all 4 of their runs in this game in the 4th inning. Again, the Mets 2.5 months in, best record in baseball. Marlins finished the season 4th in the National League East, 79-83. The Mets will finish 2nd with 83-79 as their record. The Reds will now go to the Dodgers for the first series of the National League Wild Card Series. That starts Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Can I give you the reason the Mets are not in the postseason right now?
Sure.
They went 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They had the chances. They just didn't convert them. 5 total hits in the game, 1 extra base hit, a double from Lindor. That's it.
As he said, microcosm their entire season.
Yep.
The Twins at the Phillies to match that NL East theme we're going on. Phillies win the game 2-1 in 10 innings. They take 2 out of 3. Let's hear from Locked On Phillies host Connor Thomas on this game.
Philadelphia Phillies walk it off in game 162 on a Nick Castellanos sacrifice fly, because of course they do. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. At a low-scoring game, not a lot going on in this one. Christopher Sanchez looked good in the minimal amount of time they allowed him to be out on the mound. Everybody gets out healthy from 162, and the Phils find a win. And of course, it was Castellanos hitting a fly ball to center field to score Harrison Bader against his former team, the Minnesota Twins. I mean, that's just, did you expect anything different? And now the regular season has come to a close. The Phillies have accomplished everything that they could have been expected to accomplish through 162 games. And this is what we've all been waiting for. It's time to turn the page to October to prepare through the first round bye, and heck, go win the whole damn thing. That's where we're at. And we'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
I thought that was Cal Raleigh's thing.
Yeah, good advice there, Connor. I'll say this. he did enter that short saying the Phillies going to the postseason without any injuries. He's missing one major injury going in. Zach Wheeler. And that is potentially the NL Cy Young Award winner before he got hurt. That's a huge missing piece of their rotation going in. They still have a good rotation. Christopher Sanchez had a great year. Ranger Suarez is obviously dangerous. Aaron Nola did kind of figure himself out towards the end of the year. So we'll see what they can give. But Zach Wheeler, not having him in your rotation is massive.
And without Wheeler, it's very lefty heavy. So if they face a team with a bunch of really quality righties, they could struggle. Like they were one of the worst teams in baseball that's left in the playoff field against right-handed starters because of all those lefties in their lineup.
But we'll see that their lineup is lethal, and they will be getting Trey Turner back for the NLDS, which is going to be huge. Twins finished their season at 70-92. Phillies 96-66. They're again getting at the first round bye. Dodgers at the Mariners. Dodgers win this game 6-1. They sweep the Mariners, who I guess gave up at the end of their
after they won the division. They said we're good.
Yeah. And as a Yankee fan, selfishly, a little happy that Cal Raleigh did not break the all-time home run record for a season. Glad Aaron Judge keeps that personally. Clayton Kershaw, maybe his last start ever as a Dodger, more than likely his last start. 5 1/3, 4 hits, no earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Freddie Freeman came out in this game to take Clayton Kershaw out of the game, which is a pretty cool sentiment there. Bryce Miller goes 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Kim, Freeman, and Ohtani all homered in this game. Ohtani's 54th of the year, I believe. Unbelievable year for Ohtani. Dodgers finished the year 93-69. They'll open up with the wild card round at home against the Cincinnati Reds. That series starts Tuesday at 9:08 p.m. Eastern. The Mariners finish the year 90-72. They'll get the bye in the American League. They'll face the winner of the Tigers versus Guardians series. Lindsay, next we'll check on the AL East and what matchups came out in the final day of the season. Today's show is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shots packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus vitamin B, vitamins, and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot, and you can take it anywhere to get that boost when you need it. I always reach for my favorite flavor, which winds up being the watermelon flavor because it's refreshing and it gives me a quick lift before all my busy days. But I've also been eyeing other flavors. Strawberry bananas got me looking at, and strawberry watermelon, which is a great combo. Sounds really awesome. I'm going to be getting those real soon. And honestly, I love how fast it kicks in. It's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about the crash later on. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. And Locked On MLB Game Night is also brought to you by ZipX. This episode is brought to you by ZipX Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, ZipX has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, ZipX provides a discreet way to satisfy the cravings and that hand-to-mouth habit without having to vape or smoke. ZipX can be a helpful tool as you can work to reduce your dependence on vaping. It's available in 6 great flavors with 2 and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are also a game changer. I tried a couple of their flavors. Absolutely wonderful. Just honestly satisfying and fun to use too. So I got using it. They sent us a free copy. We tried them. Absolutely unbelievable. Got to get your hands on these things. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to go to zipxtoothpicks.com. Use code LOCKED ON for 10% off your first order. You must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zipxtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKED ON. Zip more, smoke less with ZipX Toothpicks. So, Lindsay, I said we'd get to the American League, and here we are. The Orioles at the Yankees. Yankees needed to sweep pretty much to win the American League East, and the Blue Jays needed to lose one of their games. We'll discuss what happens in a second. The New York Yankees do wind up sweeping. They win this game 3-2 off of Ben Rice's 2 solo shots. Kyle Bradish has 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Luis Gil gives the Yankees 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The Orioles finished the season last place in the American League East at 75-87, which I don't think anybody saw coming before the season started. No. And the Yankees finished 94-68. I got to be honest with you. The way the Yankees finished off the regular season, with Judge getting going a lot, with Giancarlo Stanton getting going a lot, the way Ben Rice has been hitting of late, the way the pitching staff has looked, with the way Rodon finished the season, with the way Fried finished the season, with the way Cam Schlittler has looked, I don't know. I have a lot of trouble not calling the Yankees the favorite going into the American League postseason. And I will say this. I think that it benefits them that they're playing in the wild card round. That might sound crazy because a lot of people think there's the rest factor and everything. Only getting the Monday off and going straight into a series in the wild card round, I think is so crucial. It is so key for these players, especially a guy like Aaron Judge, who has often struggled in the postseason. Being able to get him right back on the field into the postseason, I think is huge. What say you, Lindsay?
My only question is Jazz Chisholm going to be able to play? Whereas if you had the time off, would he be back for Saturday? I think that could be the deciding factor, simply because he can do so many things for you defensively, offensively, on the base paths. This isn't a very fast team.
Yeah,
he's a 2020 guy who could do a lot of stuff. So that's my only question is Jazz.
He was able to pinch hit at the end of this game, the game on Sunday, which is key for them. But
yeah,
I don't know what the factor is about him starting and playing the whole game. That is going to be absolutely huge. I agree with you, because the other factor in this is if Jazz Chisholm Jr. is unable to go, that means Anthony Volpe has to go at shortstop. Mm-hmm. And that's also a problem. You don't necessarily want him playing going forward. I think Caballero is your starting shortstop now. If Jazz is unable to play, Caballero goes over to second and Volpe's going to start at short. So we'll see. Would you call the Yankees the favorite if Jazz is healthy going into the American League playoffs?
It's hard not to think that Seattle or Toronto, just based on the schedule and being at home, should be the favorite, but the Yankees have to be up there. I trust them more than I trust Cleveland. I trust them more than I trust Detroit. If they're not number one for me, they're close, right? They're somewhere near Seattle and Toronto based, and that's only because of home field advantage, that especially for Seattle in that ballpark that they have.
The American League playoffs are going to be next to impossible to predict. I'll say that.
They are.
Yes. The Rays at the Blue Jays. I was keeping touch on this game, as a lot of people were. Toronto wins the game 13-4, absolutely destroys them. They sweep the series, win the AL East with a victory, also clinch home field throughout the American League. Ian Seymour goes 3 1/3, 7 hits, 6 earned, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. I needed more from you, Ian. Kevin Gausman goes 3 2/3, 8 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. This was marked the Alejandro Kirk game.
Yeah.
He started off with a grand slam in the second inning, I believe. 3 hits, 6 RBIs in the game. Just unbelievable. Had a home run later on, too. This was the Alejandro Kirk game, if there ever was. Rays finished 77-85 on the season. That's 4th in the American League East. Blue Jays finished 94-68. They'll face off against the winner of Yankees Red Sox. That is going to be just a fascinating, whoever it winds up being, I think could beat Toronto. Would you be a little concerned, Lindsay, with how Toronto closed off the season? They didn't necessarily finish the season off very hot. They were losing a couple series there at the end. They kind of did limp towards the finish line. Would you be concerned with that or no?
If Bo Bichette's not back for the series, I have a little bit more concern, because it feels like a lot of the offense runs through a rejuvenated George Springer. How much longer can you do this for? He's over 35. Vlad Guerrero and Bo Bichette. So if Bichette's not back, I am more concerned, and I do think the Yankees or Red Sox could knock off Toronto. But the defense has been pretty good for Toronto, and they've just not struck out a ton. I think that's the big thing for them, is they put the ball in play and they make you play good defense,
which is key in today's game when a lot of teams don't play that way. I don't fully trust their starting pitching. I'll say that. I don't think they have what it takes.
Outside of Kevin Gausman, I think they're a little suspect in that area. Not having to play in the wild card, since he went today, that's huge for them because they have him for the weekend. If they had gone to the wild card and didn't have Kevin Gausman, they may not have advanced out of the wild card.
They needed
to win his start.
Yeah. And the Red Sox are able to line up Crochet in game 1, which again would have been huge against what Toronto was able to do. So I think Toronto got absolutely unbelievably lucky getting through the wild card. Yep. It's weird how they were able to, they could have been in the wild card round, or they could have been playing. It's crazy. They were either had home field throughout the entire American League or in the wild card. It's so ridiculous that would have worked out. Texas at the Guardians. The Guardians finished off their season on playing like the hottest team in all of baseball, and finished off their season in the most apropos way with a walk-off. Let's hear from Justin Latta of Locked On Guardians.
When you podcast 5 days a week for 6 months a year, you're going to get a lot of things wrong. And this is the best thing I've ever gotten wrong in my life. The Cleveland Guardians repeat 2025 as AL Central Division champs. Let that sink in. The team that was 15 and a half back, losing their 10th in a row, being swept by the Tigers at home July 4th weekend. They've lost their all-world closer. They lost their third starter. All the prospects that were going to help him this year, injured. Never let Shane Bieber come back from an injury. Traded him away. None of the season makes any sense. And sure, they needed a lot of help to get here, but they had to help themselves by winning 17 games in September. And I'm recording this before they finish game 162 because it doesn't matter if they win. They're coming back right now as I record this. But it doesn't matter because they're division champions. The Tigers come to Cleveland on Tuesday. It'll be Tarek Skubal, probably Gavin Williams. Buckle up. It's been a crazy month. It's about to get crazier. Division champs back-to-back for the first time since 2018. Maybe the sweetest division title since 1995. We'll have it all on Locked On Guardians. Can't wait to see you there.
I'd like to say, how could you not like the Tigers going into this series with Skubal on the mound in game one? But we just saw this series a weekend ago, and it didn't work out. So I don't know how you could not like the Guardians going forward with how hot they've played to finish out the season. It is absolutely insane the run they're on. I think the comeback potentially is actually equal on both when it comes to the Tigers falling apart and the Guardians playing really well. I don't think it's either playing. The Guardians didn't outplay the Tigers down the stretch and just take over the division. The Tigers also were awful down the stretch. So absolutely crazy stuff. Brian Rocchio at the end of this game hits a 3-run homer in the 10th to walk it off for the Guardians. They clinched the American League Central. Guardians finished the year 88-74. They'll face off against the Tigers in the wild card series and have home field advantage. The Rangers collapsed late in the season. They finished at a record of 81-81, which that's a whole nother discussion that we need to have because with that roster, how do you finish at 500 if you're the Rangers? I don't even understand how that happens.
With that rotation, how are you just 81? Yeah.
Go figure. Crazy stuff. The way this season finished out is absolutely unbelievable. The fact that the Guardians got in. I wonder if Emmanuel Clase took a futures bet on the Guardians getting into the postseason. It would have cashed today. Tigers at the Red Sox to close out this part of the segment. Boston wins the game 4-3. Boston takes 2 out of 3 in this series. Chris Paddock goes 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned, 4 walks, and 5 Ks. Jose De Leon goes 6 2/3 at 8 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Masataka Yoshida homered in the first. David Hamilton homered in the fourth. And Jaron Duran drove in the game winner in the fourth inning. Red Sox finished this season 89-73. Will face the Yankees on the road on Tuesday at 6:08 p.m. in game 1 of the wild card round. That will be Max Fried versus Garrett Whitlock, which the pitching matchups in that series are going to be really tough. Again, I can see the Yankees winning the World Series. I can see them losing in the wild card round. That's how tight that series is going to be. Tigers finish at 87-75. They are going to head to Cleveland and take on the Guardians in that series. Wild stuff. Just wild stuff. 15.5 game blown lead. 15.5 games. I don't get it. I don't get it.
The only bigger collapse in that was the Mets collapsing.
Yeah, and if you're a Tiger fan, I feel bad for you. This is like watching your own funeral. I don't know how you could think that how you could have confidence going forward in your own team is crazy to me. We'll see what happens. I love their roster, but not getting pitching at the deadline, I think that's the biggest sin the Tigers made. Speaking of that team that I almost just mentioned, the Padres, we'll talk about them on the other side. And the rest of the National League will close out how teams finished off the rest of their seasons. Guys, you've probably seen a million ads out there for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. And that's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people, and it's not just the hype. This is a supplement that's clinically tested and targets the root cause of thinning, shedding, and with a proactive approach. The best part? It's easy. You take 4 pills with a meal, and there's no prescription needed. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and you enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. Diamondbacks at the Padres, Lindsay. The Padres pretty much knew their fate going in. There wasn't much to play for in this spot. Padres win the game 12-4 and wound up sweeping the Diamondbacks. There's a little bit of significance there for the Diamondbacks in their season. Brendan Pfaadt goes 4 innings, 6 hits, 7 earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts. JP Sears, 5 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 4 Ks. Manny Machado homered in the 3rd inning. and had an RBI single later on in the game. It was a 5-run first inning for the Padres. This game got away for the D-backs real quickly. They were getting ready to head to the golf courses as soon as this game ended. Diamondbacks finished the season 80-82. That's why it's significant. There's something satisfying about finishing 500, and the D-backs they fell apart late. Not a terrible season, but it got off to a terrible start with the Corbin Burns injury, obviously. You got to feel bad for the way the season went for the Diamondbacks here.
It's the second straight season they've been eliminated or out of the postseason in the final couple games. It was on the extra day, the extra Monday last year. This time it was on like Saturday, and they just couldn't do anything since then.
Yeah, it's a tough stop there. Padres finished the year 90-72. They will head to Chicago to take on the Cubs Tuesday for game 1 of that NL wild card. That's at 3 p.m. on ABC, by the way. When's the last time we've had an ABC baseball game? So that'll be fun to watch. Cardinals at the Cubs. Cubs win this game 2-0 and sweep the Cardinals. Let's hear from Locked On Cubs host Sam Olber.
92-70, the same record as 2017, 1 year after the World Series season. The Chicago Cubs sweep the Cardinals and finish the season on a tremendous note. Was kind of a meaningless game, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Cubs played a lot of their guys. Seiya hit another home run. I hope that he carries us into the wild card series. I know this sounds so pessimistic and cynical, but knowing Seiya, I just hope he didn't peak like 2 games too early, but that's probably just me. Javier Assad threw the ball well today. All is well. Cubs sweep, and it's postseason time now. This game didn't really matter. It's playoff time. Cubs, Padres, 2:08 Central, Tuesday and Wednesday. See if you can get off work a little bit early. Do what you could do. Matt and I have a show premiering tonight at 7 Central talking about this weekend, the Cade Horton injury. And then Monday night we'll have a full preview of a Cubs playoff series at Wrigley Field with fans for the first time since 2018 in a one-game situation and a full series since 2017. Exciting stuff. Go Cubs.
We knew it was playoff time for the Cubs for the last couple of weeks now at this point. The Cubs pretty much had everything locked up and kind of was far-fetched that they would potentially catch the Brewers in that division for a while. But we'll see. This is a fascinating series. This is probably the most competitive series going forward. This is one of those series where I don't think either team will deserve to go home. And if this doesn't go 3, I'd be stunned. Honestly, stunned.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of peaking at the right time. Seiya Suzuki has 5 homers in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Tatis had massive hit the other day. Like, everybody's peaking at the right time. And that bullpen for San Diego is just completely savage. You got to score early if you're the Cubs because you may not get to score late.
That bullpen is insane. We're going to see what happens there. I like San Diego in that series, but anything can obviously happen, especially really in the postseason. Let me mention this really quickly because that game will be at 3:08 Eastern. I know what MLB is trying to do, staggering these games. I get it throughout the day. I hate it. I think it's so stupid. Put these games on at prime time and let all the fans get in there. What is that time in Wrigley? Is it 2:08 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Who is getting to that game on a Tuesday at 2:00 in the afternoon? You're taking away from what the Cubs can get when it comes to a home field advantage. Lindsay, for the life of me, only the most diehard Cubs fans are taking off work on Tuesday to go to the game 1 of the NL wild card. You're hurting these home teams. And even as a Yankee fan, I'm getting a 6:00 game, which is still ridiculous. I know you're trying to stagger the games, and it works in the NFL because they play on a weekend. It doesn't work in Major League Baseball. Play these games at night, and baseball is a regional sport anyway. The fans of those teams will watch their teams play in the postseason. That's all we need, Lindsay. I just wanted to throw that in there because I think it's so dumb what baseball does.
Flip side, my team's not in, so let me watch 4 games in one day at 4 different times. That's the flip side, yeah.
And
this
clearly,
is my March Madness right here.
Yeah. Rob Manfred did it for you, so I'm glad that you got something out of it. But the rest of baseball fans, try to have some sympathy for us. Cardinals finished the season at 78-84, enough for 4th place in the NL Central. The Cubs finished 92-70. Again, that series starts Tuesday with the Padres going to Wrigley. Astros at the Angels. The Astros missed the postseason. Very happy about that. Houston wins this game 6-2. They missed the postseason for the first time since 2016. That blown game on Friday was what killed Houston. Mm-hmm. They had a lead in that game against the Angels. Probably would have made the postseason if they wound up winning that game. They don't. They blow a lead late, and it winds up that and the injury to Yordan Alvarez is what ended their season collectively. They just never got back from that injury. Lance McCullers Jr., who's still in the league, threw 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. Sam Aldegree, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Ramon Urias, hit one of the 4 Astros home runs in this game. Again, they missed the postseason. They were eliminated yesterday. They finished the season with an 87-75 record. The Angels, which we need to break this down at some point too, finished the year with 72-90 record, the last place in the American League West, and they still have the highest paid infielder in all of baseball on their roster, who didn't play in a single game this year. Great stuff
after this year. I'm pretty sure Rendon's done after this year, though. So
no, he's not. No, he's not. He's under contract until 2027.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so
at $35 million per year. So good work.
So
White Sox at the Nationals. White Sox win this game 8-0. They take 2 out of 3. Shane Smith goes 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Brad Lord, 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. Vargas homered in the first. Brooks Baldwin hit a solo shot in the 4th and drove in 2 in the 5th. White Sox, they finished last in the AL Central at 60-102. And the Nationals finished last in the National League East at 66-96. The Rockies played the Giants. Giants won 4-0. They swept the Rockies. McCabe Brown goes 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Logan Webb goes 5 1/3, 3 hits, no earned, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Finished off his season on a positive note. Willie Adames and Rafael Devers both homered in the 1st and 4th. The Rockies finished the season with the worst record in all of baseball, 43-119. That is insane. The Giants finished 3rd in the NL West, and they finished at 500. The Pirates at the Braves. Braves win the game 4-1. Pirates take 2 out of 3. Johan Oviedo goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Charlie Morton goes an inning and a third with 2 hits, no earned, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a 2-run homer in the first, his 21st of the year. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for you, genuinely, because this is not, their record is not indicative of what the Braves did this season. They actually, I thought, were pretty competitive most of the year. They just could not stop getting injured. Everybody on the Braves faced IL time this year. It's crazy to look at what happened in their season. They'll be back next year for sure.
They had all 5 starters on the 60-day IL. I think it's the first time that's ever happened. And they used an MLB record 73 players this year.
I mean, wolf. Pirates finished the year last in the NL Central as per usual, 71-91. Look forward to them not spending any money this offseason. Braves went 76-86, finished 4th in the National League East with an injury-laden season. It's insane how that happened.
It's rough.
And the Royals at the Sacramento A's, who are now 2 seasons away from going to Las Vegas. Royals win the game 9-2. Royals take 2 out of 3. Cole Reagan's 4 1/3, 2 hits, no earned, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. Brady Basso 1 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. Bobby Witt Jr., Garcia, and Yastrzemski all had 2 RBIs in this game. Royals finished upsetting, 82-80. Got to be better than that after they going to the playoffs last year. That was good enough for 3rd in the American League Central. I consider that a disappointing season for them. And the Athletics finished 76-86. They finished 4th in the West. I want to thank all of you, all season, all regular season, for joining all of us on Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you'll come back and visit us all throughout the postseason, as we will be there with you guys. It's MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.